hey, CJ, get that foldable thing out and snap the photo. And then it's like, like, hey man, we want to watch the YouTube video on your joint. And then you go to 16:9, it's like, oh, black bars, a lot of bars. Maybe we'll go. YouTube. Today's video, we're gonna be taking a dive 1 month later, our update with the Galaxy Z Flip 5. The most convenient yet complicated segment of smartphone talk, because it seems though, from the numbers or the speculations and the sales, that this should be the most popular foldable device that Samsung sells. And I can see why it could very well be that. I had extreme enthusiasm with the Z Flip 3, the Z Flip 4, until the Z Flip 4 had a little, stumble in the road, but Samsung got me right, so I can't fault, them at that. And I can just take the experience with the Z Flip 5 and move forward. My guess is that Samsung has improved the hinge to the point that it has reneged any type of issues I had with the Z Flip 4. But let's continue on with the segment. This is the Z Flip 5 1 month later, continuing right after a quick word from our video partner. This video is made in partnership with Banks Armor Air case for the Galaxy Z Fold 5 and Z Flip 5. They are made with DuPont 600D Kevlar fibers, which lead to an ultra slim, minimalistic design that's light as air. It's MagSafe compatible, a perfect fit, features a raised camera cutout, easy access to buttons, and it's scratch resistant. So cover and protect your Z Fold 5 in the most minimal and lightweight with Binks using the link found in the description below, and use promo code CJ15 for 15% off site-wide. So as you guys can see, I chose the Samsung.com exclusive. I went with this yellow color. I probably should have chose a different color. Like the blue that I have on my Z Fold 5 is the blue that I would have probably enjoyed on the Z Flip versus this yellow. I like the matte black siding and so forth. I always try to pick something flamboyant, extravagant that, pops and so forth. It's actually not an overwhelming yellow. So if you like yellow, I think you could appreciate this design. For me personally, I don't think I would have appreciated the blue or red if they would have made one like that. The red color tone of this with this, would have been a W, Samsung. Just a note for next year. So you guys can see 1 month later, my device is doing okay. Like, I don't have any issues with it, but I haven't been driving it extremely hard. And I also had a case temporarily. I typically don't use cases on my device, but you can definitely scratch these if you don't, cover them, skin them, or do something of that manner. I would consider that if you are someone who's spending your hard-earned money and you need your device to stay looking pretty, especially for the upcoming trade-in that you probably eventually will do with Samsung. Speaking of trade-in, the Z Flip 5 had a crazy trade-in if you had last year's Z Flip 4. I have my internal and my own personal speculations as to why that was, considering I had a bump in the road with the Z Flip 4, but I think it was an amazing trade-in, which allows you to get out of that Z Flip 4 into the Z Flip 5 at little to no money at all. From a design perspective, I think the design is pretty good. The new hinge has been pretty fair. It's like the hinge is so new. It's like every year they say it's better and better. But the one main, factor is the fact that there's no dust protection. So just keep that in mind. But the hinge so far has been pretty solid. I'm not a hinge master, I guess. I'm not a person who's using my device with the hinge on flex at all times. I use it in a pretty typical and normal fashion. I take advantage of the foldable or the flippableness of the Z Flip when necessary. But outside of that, I'm not like a hinge master running around here just hinging it up, if that makes sense. So from, the perspective of this OLED panel and using it for a month, it's a great OLED panel. It's full HD. It looks phenomenal. It's bright. I'll take you outside so you guys can see. All right, I had to put the camera all the way to f16 just so that it doesn't overexpose, but this is what it looks like in direct sunlight. It's still visible. I can use this device in direct sunlight. The screen protection that's on here that they give you in that film and just the coating, it is very reflective, but this device is still visible in outside conditions
direct. The sun is like hiding under clouds, just for clarification as to the type of direct sunlight that we're in today.
It's able to perform in direct sunlight. I didn't have the direct sun today because the clouds was blocking, but I can tell you that you can use this in most situations to all and get a, visible panel that looks great. It's Samsung, so they always bring the color to pop. And I put my panel on natural, so everything you're seeing is from a natural perspective. Actually, let me go into photos that I just took out there, right? Show you guys some of these pictures you guys are gonna see in the photo segment, but on natural setting, a little sneak peek to the camera segment, but we'll get more into that. That's an area where it's, complicated more than it is convenient. But this phone, like from a design standpoint, as far as, going from this beautiful, bright internal panel to the external panel is the convenience of this device. So let's talk about the outer display, because there's a lot of hype and excitement around it, and rightfully so. Like, finally, we have an OLED panel on the outer display panel. And you have access to some things that you can do on this panel. A lot of widgets. This is really a widget panel. It's not really an outer display. Let me explain. Because from the way that content creators are hyping it up and pushing it to you, you would think that you can do everything from this outer display and have it feel like you're using a smartphone. That's the part I don't want you guys to get, caught up in. It is an outer display with widgets. And that's fine, that's great. Like, it's actually a cool experience, but it's not a Z Fold experience. It's not like I'm using my phone, my inner display from the outer. It's absolutely not that. Because let me show you why. If I were to come here, right, let's say I want to open up X. That sounds crazy. Let me say I want to open up Twitter, right? And I want to scroll, okay, boom, boom. All right, I see my bro Jayhawk post right there, right? So I'm on Twitter. I did what I wanted to do on Twitter, right? I go out of Twitter. Look, I come out and then now I got to go back here, right? Okay, oh, that's fine. Whatever, let's go to IG, right? Let's see what's popping on IG, right? Instagram is not optimized for the outer panel, which is okay. I'm not expecting that, right? But the one thing I am expecting is for it to feel like a smartphone, meaning that if I come out of here, it would go to a home screen. But there is no home screen to this outer display, so that's something to consider. Okay, so let me just give you an example, right? Pixel Fold, I'm on the outer panel, but it's kind of unfair because this is like the size or a similar size to a regular smartphone, so I can use it like a regular smartphone, right? Open up an app, exit out, and then go to a home screen. So if you think that the Z Flip 5 is gonna give you that home screen feel on the outer display, it's not. It's more of a widget and a stopgap in between you opening the device. Now, that's actually really good because, hey, I can, handle text messages here. I can check things really quickly. I can go to my smart lights, right, in here, and I can hit the studio lights back there. I could turn off the studio light, but I'm not because I don't wanna mess up the lighting or the shot. So there's the capability of convenience on this outer display that I like. And this is exactly why I stated that this phone is a phone of convenience, and it's complicated because it's a complicated segment of a phone. It's like you're trying to pull people from the traditional smartphone, S23 Ultra right here, into something like this. But I think the target with the Z Flip 5, which is why it's kind of complicated, is not the S23 Ultra users, more of the S23 and S23 Plus user. Is more of the normal, I don't know how, I don't want to say normal phone. If it was in the words of Floss, it would be the peasant phone user, right? But the beauty of what I like about this outer display that leans into the world of convenience is the fact that you do not need or have as much of a need to, expand your display into the larger display unless necessary. So it's a lot less of a need to open it. You can handle things here, but I just don't want you to think that it's gonna feel like you know, a Z Fold 5 here. Like the outer display on the Z Fold 5 or the outer display on the Pixel Fold. I'm really starting to realize the category of segment that this phone falls in is not the flagship user. It's crazy because this phone has flagship pricing, but it doesn't have flagship, you know. We'll get a little bit more into that. But generally, it's a very, very convenient phone. It's just a complicated segment. I think the outer display getting larger was definitely the move for the Z Flip 5. As someone who's been rooting for these to get better and better, I'm excited and I appreciate the outer display. Shout out to Samsung for doing this. Now we're gonna move into a segment that I wanna talk about, and that's the cameras. And you guys know when I talk about cameras, I go outside and actually use them. So let's go outside and use them. All right, so we got the front-facing camera on the beautiful, convenient Z Flip 5. So my favorite part is in the rear cameras. I probably rarely use the interior camera unless I'm trying to do like a vlog setup like this where I need to see myself. But even then, I could do it. No, I'm like, why use the selfie camera? Literally, there isn't much advantage. Like, you're gonna get the advantage using the rear cameras, especially with the new larger outer display. So let's just get to that. And so here we have it, the rear facing selfie cameras. And I call them that because you can look at yourself the same way you would if you were using a, you know, selfie camera on a traditional smartphone. And that's the beauty of the Z Flip 5. I think it's just convenience. That's the key thing that you can sell with the Z Flip 5, in my opinion. And that's one of my draws, or like my attractions to the Z Flip 5. It's just sheer convenience. It's convenient because it folds down to a small, compact device. The thing is, I feel like the camera housing can use a slight little, just to make it even more convenient. But outside of that, like, I just think in general, these cameras are ideal for the general consumer and they're fair. That's the best rating I can give to them. Right now, they're in the best situation that they can possibly have. So there's no excuses. So I'm gonna flip it to the wider selfie camera. Oh, this is that new auto framing feature. And that's when you actually get the ultra wide while using this type of setup. My goal is just to get the ultra wide, not so much this auto framing. So let me see if I can do that. Okay, so we got the ultra wide out. Interesting enough, I had to unfold the device, but even if it's unfolded and I'm holding it like you would a traditional phone using the rear camera, I still have access to the cover screen because you can turn that on. So that way I can still see and frame myself, which is still giving me an advantage over the traditional smartphone. That's a W for the Z Flip 5. Any type of advantage over what's traditional is an improvement, but is it really if the camera hardware is not on the same par or level of traditional smartphones? You be the judge. You hit me down in the comment section below and let me know what you think about these cameras. Okay, so, you know, I always give Samsung a little bit of gripe on their cameras, but they do have one of the best pro video modes on smartphones, and I love it because I can lock shutter speeds, I can, you know, lock ISOs, and I can control the camera so that way I get the best results, and I can show you guys what these cameras can actually do. So this is the Z Flip 5 in pro camera mode. Now when you flip it to this mode, you can't use the selfie camera, unfortunately. That's another thing. If they upgrade the selfie camera to S23 Ultra selfie camera, you could do it with that one, but you can do it with the rears. You'll just have to set your settings and then flip it, turn on cover display, so that way you can still get that, you know, visual of yourself while you use it. But this is like one of the best, most ideal conditions or settings that could get set up. Pro video mode is how you're gonna get these type of shots right here. You just gotta know what you're doing, lock things up, and yeah, watch the magic happen. One more thing, the reason why I'm doing this is to show the potential of these cameras. And you know, when you use the regular app, it's making all of the decisions for you. But if you learn about the cameras and these pro modes and how to use them, I have a video teaching you guys, then you can take better advantage. So keep that in mind. So you guys saw the cameras. Hit the comment section down below. Let me know exactly what you think. And let me share my thoughts, right? My favorite use cases with the Z Flip 5 is in the camera department because of the convenience. The fact that either I can tap here and expand into the camera, We can set it down like this, right? Throw out the 5. Photo taken really quick, right? Was that on portrait? Oh no, let's slide out. Let's get a portrait really fast in this dude. Okay, and then let's do it just a real quick little video, right? Quick video on the Z Flip 5 just to show how convenient this thing really is. I actually enjoy the convenience of this camera. Now, do I enjoy the camera? Okay, so I did something different this time. I actually used the Pro video mode and the Pro photo mode. So I showed you guys some of those results. And for me, the Pro video mode on Samsung is the saving grace to the camera of Samsung's, because it shows what these sensors can actually do, especially if you know what you're doing with camera settings. I'm not a fan of the auto settings that are chosen during the auto camera use cases, but typically for everyday users like you who don't care, or like that, you know, market of smartphone that's like the S23 user, I don't think they care so much as to ever tweak or learn about pro camera settings. But if you want to learn, I have a video that I already made, and I have another video that I'll be coming out with, I believe, doing an update to that, just showing an even more pro use case with ND filters. But I expect for the pro video to look way better, or a lot better, than what I'm giving out of the auto video segment. But I still have my wants and my hopes that the cameras on here can go to a higher grade. But again, when I understand the complicated segment of this device and the complicated market placement, which is that of the S23 user and the S23 Plus user versus not the S23 Ultra user, which I think they want to push those users to the Z Fold. But some people may not want a Z Fold, and they may want this. So it's really tough for Samsung to find exactly where to place this device. Unless they did another version of this, which was a higher end, an ultra version of the Z Flip, and put it in between the Z Fold and this. And I think then we could have like a higher, you know, caliber camera setup, a higher caliber inner OLED panel, you know, 2K, 1440p, whatever, and things of that sense. But, you know, all in all, I have come to the conclusions, like I like to just rate Samsung cameras as fair, and that every average consumer could use them and probably appreciate the photos and videos that they get out of them, possibly. You know, if you don't, hit the comment section down below and let Samsung know what they can improve upon when it comes to the cameras of the Z Flip, or any other cameras for that matter. All right, next segment, let's talk about it. Battery life, right? Everyone was hyped to see that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 was coming to this device, because the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 going into this device just shocked the Android world and gave us iPhone 13 Pro Max level battery, which is the top of the top of battery life in the Android market. It has the exact same 3,700 milliamp hours as last year's model, but since we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is optimized and pulling more battery life, you can expect about an extra hour in comparison to what you got on the Z Flip 4. If you're coming from the Z Flip 4 and you're expecting like crazy battery bumps, I mean, you're getting an extra hour. So whatever screen on time you were getting, you can kind of like round. Again, this is just estimates. It's not guarantees, but you can round about an extra hour onto that and expect that to be the Z Flip 5's battery life. So the battery life is fair in my opinion, because I can make it through a day. I can make it through a work day. And that's what matters to me. Can I charge this thing up? Can I get through a work day? And I also have the battery set to like the optimized battery. So it only charges up to 85%, which is why I'm at 83%, because I had this thing sitting on the wireless charger before I decided to, you know, shoot the video. But you can go all the way to 100%, get the full capacity of the battery, and you can make it through your workday, and that's what matters. So if you wonder why there's even an option to optimize the battery for longevity by not fully charging it to a full 100%, and you know what I mean, and not depleting it to a full 0%, if you do that, that does extend the battery life over time. So if you plan to keep the device longer, but the thing is, you're not able to charge to the full 100% capacity to 3,700 milliamp hours. So I would not honestly recommend that to everyone. I think you just go ahead, get your 700 milliamp hours, get all of the battery life that you can get out of this device, get all of the usage that you can get out of this device, keep it in great condition, and then, you know, trade in to your next phone, because Samsung has a great trade-in program. That's what I see being the ideal way to use, most Samsung devices in their, lifespan or whatever, however long you choose to use them. The most important topic of them all, user experience. As you guys can see, I like to build out my ecosystem a little bit in the Samsung world. I like to have a Galaxy Watch and get that experience along with the, Samsung Galaxy device. I have a Galaxy tablet as well. I will be doing an update on the S9 Ultra tablet, Tab S9 Ultra. I don't want to give up too much, but user experience is what matters most. And when it comes to the Z Flip, the user experience for me is convenient. Oh, what a surprise, right? But the user experience is all about convenience. This phone is so convenient, and that's the excitement about it. It's like, you get tired, you get big phone fatigue. Look how small this is in comparison, right? Okay, that's not fair, it's not unfolded. Okay, even unfolded, look how small in comparison. Now, it has the same height, don't get it twisted, but it's a lot slimmer, as you guys can see. And that's where the difference and the awkwardness of this phone can be, is how tall and slender the panel is from like a user experience perspective. It's very tall. Now, vertical content, you know what I mean? Like if I were to get on TikTok over here, hold on, do I got TikTok on here? Damn, I didn't even put TikTok on here yet. I'm kind of disappointed about that. I'm not like a TikTok addict. Like, look at my bro, Terry Warfield right here. And the sizing, the amount of information you get from top to bottom is great for vertical content. So like TikToks and things like that, and Instagrams and so forth. So if I get on my IG, right, look at the size of that Instagram video right there. That right there is a great experience for vertical content. So vertical consumers, you're gonna enjoy the Z Flip display sizing and ratio for that, 100%. Now for my 16:9 content consumption people, so as you guys can see, this is a 16:9 video, and you can see it's not a full, fill. No device is of this day, but the less of these black bars, the more, pleasing it is to the eye, the less you feel. I don't know what it is. It's just something about the bars, but that's how tall or how long the display is. So consuming horizontal content isn't as pleasant as vertical content. Vertical content is gonna look the best on this device from a user experience perspective. Now, as far as the speakers go, let me play a little music really quick. It was never me versus you, it's understood. Get up. Now I'm good. So like for music, since music is balanced so well, it sounds good. But like I was watching like YouTube earlier, and I feel like on YouTube, when I was watching the YouTube video that I was watching, it felt like if I'm holding it this way, right? And there's a speaker here at the ear that's playing out, and then here is shooting out that way. It felt more top heavy because this one's kind of like coming at you, while that one's kind of like going, not really, if it makes sense. And it's kind of typical on most phones of today, but the speaker experience and the sound experience is fine. Most people won't notice anything, and I think it's just fine for consuming content and being that category of user, Galaxy S23 user, S23 Plus user, yeah. And then there's just overall user experience. You combine the battery life, you combine the nice full HD panel, you combine, the cameras that are given, you combine everything. And that's where for me it's complicated, because it's like I'm a pro user, ultra user, high-end, top of the line user, I guess Z Fold 5 user, but I would like to be more Z Flip 5 with the sauce of the, I guess like the S23 Ultra to some degree. Okay, let me put it to you this way. I have to come into this complicated segment as to where this phone lands. It's not fully for me. As bad as I want it to be for me, it's not fully for me as someone who wants a little bit more in their, devices. Like, I want to call this a pocket rocket, but it doesn't have a rocket. You feel me? It's just a pocket, and that's fine. Like, it's a great device to put in your pocket, to have convenience with, and to enjoy just a typical smartphone everyday usage. Like, it's dope. Like, it's a conversation piece. You whip that out, you unfold that, people talking, hey, what's that? What to do? Okay, cool. But then it's like, you know, hey, CJ, get that photoable thing out and snap the photo. And then it's like, like, hey, man, we want to watch the YouTube video on your joint. And then you go to 16:9, it's like, oh, black bars, a lot of bars. Maybe we'll go. Yeah, it's like, I love the Z Flip so much, and I want it to be a phone that's for me, someone who's a tech snob, who likes, you know, devices like this and this. But this is not this. So if I remove that ideology or I realize what this is, it's not for me. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean it's not for you. Yeah, if you love this thing and you like the category and the segment that it fills, then it is for you. It's just not for me.
It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. Misunderstood. Get up, had to beat those eyes. Got up and I beat those eyes. It's understood. It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. And now I'm good. Wake up and I do my part. Wake up and I do my job. Just how I should. It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. Misunderstood. Get up, had to beat those eyes. Got up and I beat those eyes. That's understood. It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. And now